Hello, my name is Lee Jackson, and I am here on Facebook right now, and it's live. So if you'd like to ask me any questions at all about revision or exams, then that's one of the things that I do. I travel all over the country, helping young people in schools and in colleges, helping them to enjoy and succeed at school. So I'm here on behalf of Collins, my publisher, who've asked me to come and answer questions live from yourselves about revision and getting the best out of this time in the run-up to the main exams. And I'm answering a few questions. Got some questions here, which is brilliant, and I'll be answering those in just a few moments' time. So it's great to be here. This is actually live, as you can see. I'm working on stuff as we go. I was published in this book, which is GCSE Revision Study Skills, with Collins, who asked me to write part of this book, and I just step out really and just give you the details of what you need to do well in school and how to sort of get your mind in the right place, how to get your teenager to do the best that they can at this crucial time. So hello everybody and welcome, and if you're watching this live, then extra welcome. Please do send me your messages, whichever side that is, and I'll answer those live, or I also have some pre-prepared ones that were emailed and messaged to us earlier. But do have a look at Collins. They've got lots of fantastic resources at all major bookstores and online, of course, and you can get hold of those. So let me do a little bit of background information. Schools are, they're quite tough places to be these days. They're under a lot of pressure, and often young people are under quite a lot of pressure to succeed, and they're under a lot of pressure, way more than I ever was. And I think things are a little bit different now, and that's part of the difficulty is how do they keep on going? In the research that I did, I once just added up how much time they're actually in school, and it is an enormous amount of time. And so it's just understanding that not to waste those 12 years, not to waste the, as I've mentioned before, the 14,000 hours of education. So it is a crucial time, and it's important for them to help and understand how to get what is really the last few moments, the last few weeks in the run-up to the exams. So let's have a look at some of the questions that we've got, and hopefully they'll help you. And you can comment below if you're watching this on a afterwards. Then please do make comments. We do respond to them as much as we can. And hello to the people that are here now. That's fantastic. So one of the questions that we had in, which is great, was from Kieran, and Kieran said that what is the best time of day to revise, and for how long? That's a brilliant question. So what is the best time of day to revise, and for how long? Thank you, Kieran, for that question. We also have another one which we'll do in just a moment. I think the answer to that question is, what kind of person are you, and how does your brain work, is one answer to that question. If I'm honest, I'm not a morning person, so I'm quite happy. It's 7 p.m. now, and I'm quite happy doing this session kind of later on. I'm more awake now than I probably am first thing in the morning. However, I've got friends of mine who love to get up early, and they do all sorts of stuff in the morning and do a lot of their work in the morning. So it depends partly on who you are, but actually there's some research which says that our brains are a little fresher in the morning, because what happens in the day is where we can be full of social media stuff, we can be listening to the news, we've got all this other stuff that's happening, and actually, our brains can be a little tired. We might not notice it, but maybe a little tired. So I think the best thing is to experiment with the best times of day. So get you thinking about, try a morning slot, maybe try an early morning one, get up at 7:30, have a bite to eat, because eating's really important for revision, and then maybe start around 8 o'clock and just try an early session, see how that goes. And then, try a little, 2 or 3 of those and see how it goes, and then try the next time an afternoon session or an early evening one, and try and experiment with that and see how you feel in those sessions. So it's always about experimenting a little bit and finding the best time of day for you. And also, Kieran says, for how long do we need to revise? So not only the time of day, but how long should we revise for? My philosophy on revision is very simple, and I've talked to a lot of teachers about this. There is an element where you have to put the time in, to discover things, but also It's about not wasting time. So you're much better doing 20 minutes of focused revision. So you're on that particular subject and that subtopic and the subtopic of the subtopic. So you're very focused, but you are actually doing solid revision rather than doing 20 minutes and then, then you start thinking about what am I having for my tea, and then you start looking around, and above here is some of my books, and I look at my books and I think about those, and then I look at other things, and then before you know it, I'm actually distracted then. So it's really important that you do the 20 minutes, but not get distracted. Like, for instance, having your phone in your pocket and forgetting it was on. So I'm taking that off. That's one of the biggest distractions. We'll talk about that hopefully in just a few minutes. So thanks for that brilliant question. So experiment with the times of day that work for you, and see how long works for you. Honestly, 10 minutes for some people is enough. Also, it's good to maybe walk around as well. So actually doing 20 minutes at a desk is probably enough. And then you might want to actually get up with your notes, with some post-it notes or cards, and walk around the room so that you stay focused. If I sit at a desk, sometimes my brain can check out. I'm actually better getting up and being active in the way that I plan stuff. I've even written my books, and even some of my books I've written kind of standing up, so that my brain stays active. So that's a good little tip. And other question here from Kieran, which is a nice question. Should subjects be split up, one per day or an hour on a subject and then an hour on a different one? Again, it depends a little bit on your brain, but you might want to decide to do science, say as an example, do some science revision for GCSE, do a short amount of science, and then you might then try out one morning, maybe carrying on with science. So you're doing that one subject. And then the next day, try doing science and then maybe do English just to mix it up. So start with a science or maths, and then do a humanity like English or geography or history or something to try and mix it up, because it would require kind of different parts of your brain. Less logical and more artistic stuff where you got to think and reflect. So your brain might work really well for you flip-flopping between the two, or you might decide that actually you're better sticking with science for that whole day and just become a scientist for the day. So that's certainly a good one. It's a great question to ask, and I think it's just good to experiment with that. So excuse me while I drink my coffee. Let's look at the next question. Fantastic. So the next question is an anonymous question, which is fine. We can do anonymous questions. That's fine. Next question is, my son is reluctant to start revising, and I'm starting to get nervous about him leaving it too late now. How can I get him motivated? My son is reluctant to start revising, and I'm starting to get a bit nervous about him leaving it too late. So how do I get him motivated? Okay. Well, I'm a motivational speaker, so I should know how to motivate people. That's kind of what I do. And so when you understand what connects with people, I can give you a few little tips that might help. The first thing is that I and you can't really motivate anybody else, because motivation comes from the inside on the whole, intrinsic motivation. All you can do is point to something, switch a light on, so that they themselves can become motivated. It's very hard. And they say to me, that was fantastic. You've really encouraged me. I really want to work hard. And I'm really over the moon by that. And I'm thinking, that's great. That's exactly why I'm here. That's what the school's paid me for. That's what the colleges paid me for, to come in and to do that. But I always say to them, what are you going to do differently? What are you going to do from now on? Because the buzz of a talk, or the buzz of a pep talk from a parent, a carer, or somebody in the family, or a friend, that's going to wear off. It's when things are acted out differently, when something different is put into place, that's when it makes all of the difference. And often people don't start revising because it just feels way too big. They just think, this stuff is massive and I really don't know where to start. And that, of course, is procrastination. And I mentioned that on one or two of these lives before, but it's such a massive issue. So one of the reasons we don't do it is because we look at something and we just think, That is way too big. That is just, there's too much revision to do. There's too many subjects. There's, 12 subjects or whatever the school is, and that becomes a real problem. So just be aware that it's the breaking things up that makes the difference. So understanding why you do something is great motivation. So explain to them the reason you're doing revision at half term on a Tuesday afternoon when you could be doing something more interesting is because results will get you to somewhere where you want to be. So that in itself really helps. So asking the why question, of course, is the big thing, but then looking at it and say, let's break it down. Okay, why don't you just do a bit of English today? Just do an hour of English. And tomorrow, let's do an hour of science, and break it into pieces so they don't feel that the whole thing is so big that they can't do anything about it. So just be aware of that. So find the why, encourage them to start, but start by breaking it up into little pieces. Because like I said, it does wear off. So daily they need to put the effort in, and daily they need to be doing little bits of work, as well as having rest and recuperation, which is one of my tips, by the way. If you're a parent or a carer listening to this, then when you do a timetable for them, then which we'll talk about in just a moment, please do actually put in rest, recuperation, and fun stuff in the timetable. Don't make the timetable just about work, work, work. It's actually really important to do that. So this leads me on to my next question, an anonymous question, which says that my daughter is super keen to revise, but isn't very organized. How can I get a plan together? Now, Collins have released revision plans before. I think they probably have a revision planner. So the team at Collins will put a link, I think, to one of the revision planners below. So there is actually ones that they do, and you can get lots of them. The school probably has their own revision planner. It's really about doing a diary. Get an electronic diary like on Outlook or Google Calendar or something. Empty the diary, print it off if you need to do your own, and then just put in different subjects for every day. Subjects and subtopics of those subjects, and then start breaking it down. And so you'll see over the period from now in February right through to the exam starting in May, you'll start seeing that everything is broken down into little pieces, and that starts to get them organized. So it stops that procrastination and that freezing in the headlights, but also it helps them to understand that I just need to do that bit today. So I go to school, I come home from school, I have a snack, and then I'll just do an hour of that today. And that'll make a big difference. I'll have a little break, and maybe I can do half an hour of something else. Just extending the school day and putting in the subtopics, just saying I've got to go and revise now, just isn't enough information. So you need to get a real plan in place for that. And last question, our time is running out. This is great to have the questions. It's so much better than me just, giving you my talks or my research, which is, available in the books, but actually I prefer to answer live questions. And they said, what incentives or rewards do other parents and carers use? So what incentives and what? So in one of my books, I asked a lot of parents what they actually did to inspire and to keep their young people going. And here's a few of the answers that they gave me. What do you think? I asked them, what do you think is the biggest thing a parent or carer can do to help their children to revise and get through their GCSEs? And they said, stay calm and be supportive and not too pressurizing. So you be a support team. That's really important. And staying actively involved with the school is really good. And then some of the little rewards are like, get the fridge and the cupboards stocked up with the nice treats. This is probably not a time for them to be eating, they've got to eat healthily for the main meals, but it is actually treat time. So you want little snacks and little things that you can give to them as encouragements and treats throughout. Their favorite drink, their favorite little snacks here and there will make a massive difference. And it's also encouraging. What keeps them motivated actually is decide what you want to do. Some people choose to give money for exam results. That's never been something that I've encouraged because not everyone can afford that, and it becomes just about money. That isn't what I tend to do. But I think little rewards, little treats, or cinema trips, little trips out. We took my kids to see a play, which was they were studying in English for their GCSEs. So we took them out to the theatre. I haven't been to the theatre for years, but we took them out to that. Little trips, little here and there. Use extended family, grandmas, uncles, aunties, who can take them out for little trips, and little rewards like that make the difference. And if they can see it in their plan, then they can see what they're revising, but also they can see the rewards that are in there too. Trip to the cinema, trip to go bowling, trip to, sleep over with my mates, whatever. They can see these things built in. And obviously the little things like filling the fridge, and also their pencil case, give them all the posh pens and pencils and all that kind of stuff. They are great, really good rewards. But overall, as a parent and carer, I think it's important that you just allow the home to be as calm and peaceful as it can be. Allow home to be warm, welcoming, because it's a tough time for them in the run up to exams. It's challenging, and they need that time to relax. They need that time to think, oh, this is my home. And yeah, their bedrooms might be messy for a few weeks, and don't worry about that. You can deal with that in June and July when the exams are finished. Allow the bedrooms to be messy. Allow the homes to be well, cooking stuff well, keeping it warm and relaxed. And if you've got lots of other kids around, trying to keep the lid on the arguments and stuff. Choose your battles carefully and allow home to be a welcoming place, a sanctuary for them as they get ready for their GCSEs or the other exams that they're taking. Time is up. It's gone very quickly. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for interacting. Thank you for sending the questions through. There will be another one of these in, I think, 2 weeks' time on the Thursday. So please do send in some more questions. You can write the questions in the comments below, whichever side it is. And please do that, and we'll answer as many of these as we can in the next broadcast of Facebook Live. Thank you for your time. My name is Lee Jackson. I'm a school speaker. If you'd like me to come to your school, please do contact me. My website is simply leejackson.biz, leejackson.biz. You can find all the details of what I do. And do look out for Colin's resources. They're fantastic resources. There's so many of them. Great one, including a free booklet for parents and carers, which you'll find in the bookshops, I think, soon. And that I've written that for parents and carers with some of the advice we've talked about today. So I look forward to chatting with you again. Please do leave a message, and I wish you every success. And I hope that whether you're on half term or not, you have had a good day and a good week. Cheers. I'm Lee Jackson. Thank you on behalf of Collins Secondary. Thank you.